everyone. Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Tom Sherry.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Hanrahan. We begin with some breaking news tonight. Idaho prosecutors have filed a notice to use the death penalty against Chad Daybell.
Chad Daybell is the fourth husband to Lori Vallow, the mother of 2 children who went missing and whose bodies were found on Daybell's property last summer.
The notice from Fremont County prosecutors says the murders of J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan and Tammy Daybell were, quote, especially heinous, atrocious, and cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity, unquote. Prosecutors also said Daybell has a, quote, propensity to commit murder, and he would continue to be a threat to society. Daybell is facing 2 felony murder charges, 2 felony counts of insurance fraud, and 2 charges of felony criminal conspiracy. His jury trial is set to start in November. Other big story today, Tom, of course, the weather. We heard those thunder boomers over the south side of town, especially.
Yeah.
A little bit of rain as well. What's the latest with that?
Well, we're tracking them out. They moved into northern Idaho. One of the good advantages of this, as you take a live look outside, we had actually dipped into the unhealthy for sensitive range, and now we're back into the moderate range for air quality. So we love to see that. There are those thunderstorms. You can see them along I-90. They've now moved into northern Shoshone County, just now beginning to cross over into western Montana. So it was great to see that kind of precipitation move through the area. Of course, we always worry about any sort of cloud to ground lightning and exactly what kind of problems those can bring us. But it did clean up our air a bit and give us a little bit of rain. We'll look for a few more scattered showers tonight and overnight with a low of about 62. Partly cloudy, bit on the breezy side at times on your Friday. Look for a daytime high of 85 degrees. Still over the weekend, we are on track for seeing a few showers on Sunday now. Much cooler Sunday. Now the computer modeling is suggesting we'll see only highs in the mid 70s, low 80s expected on Saturday. So certainly cooler weather and cleaner air is what we can anticipate over the next several days. Of course, with these thunderstorms coinciding with our extreme drought, meteorologist Thomas Patrick is outside right now with more on how this lightning affects our wildfires.
Yeah, and when we have elevated wildfire danger, we get these red flag warnings. We are under red flag warnings until 11 o'clock this evening. This time around, it's for that chance for dry lightning, but the atmosphere actually has quite a bit of moisture. These thunderstorms aren't exactly the driest thunderstorms that we've ever seen. What you're seeing on this map here is the available moisture in the atmosphere. If you were able to squeeze out all the water vapor over Spokane, it would actually amount to 0.8 of an inch of rain. That's plenty of moisture, especially for our neck of the woods. So what are we seeing here with these thunderstorms that we're tracking for today? Let's show you the example, especially out of northern Oregon right now. See all this red on the map? There's plenty of heavy rain with these thunderstorms, but the lightning is still a threat. And the key here is that lightning can occur several miles, as much as 10 or 12 miles away from the core of these thunderstorms. And if you actually pick out some of these lightning strikes that are over the green shaded areas, that's lightning occurring where there's much less rainfall. So we're still having elevated wildfire danger because lightning can occur where it's not raining, but the thunderstorms themselves at least are producing a good chunk of rain, if not just in pinpoint areas, and that's what we're going to be tracking for the rest of this evening.
I will keep an eye on that one, Thomas. Thank you very much. And here at KREM, we love interacting with you at home. We want to see your lightning pictures.
So if you can safely capture pictures of the thunderstorms in your area, we'd love to see them. And you can text them to us at 509-448-2000, or you can open up the KREM 2 app and head to the Near Me feature.
Might feature them right here on our broadcast.
You bet.
Well, not only does this weather create more risk for new fires, it's also limiting the options that firefighters have on existing fires.
Our Whitney Ward is in Okanagan tonight at the largest wildfires burning in our state. Together, the Cub and Cedar Creek fire are burning more than 100,000 acres combined.
Good evening. Yeah, we are here at Paragon State Park in Okanagan County. This particular area is actually sandwiched right between the Cedar Creek fire and the Cub Creek fire. This has become the main spot for air support for the helicopters that are tasked with fighting these fires to come and continue to pick up either water or retardant. You can see these red tanks here behind us. That is the retardant. That's the red substance that you see them usually dropping from the air, sometimes when they are doing structure protection. Also behind me is Paragon Lake, and you can see that is where they are doing a number of water drops, and they have been doing water drops on most days. However, as you can see here, there are no helicopters here right now, and that is because the air quality has become so poor here today that most of those aircraft are now grounded. And that is a real problem because we also know there is severe weather moving into this area this afternoon. So today, the ground crews are mostly responsible for trying to get ready to keep the fire from spreading in that severe weather.
We've got those crews kind of in the far northern part of the fire, which is where we were able to see yesterday when we got some infrared data that's kind of where the fire is still, the most active. And so we've got extra crews up there. They ended up doing a small burnout operation yesterday, doing some firing to kind of prep that area for those winds today in the event that they do materialize. We've got a meteorologist on staff. We really have been talking a lot about the weather kind of leading up to today. And if we can kind of get through today, the weather looks a lot more promising the next few days after this.
Now, as of tonight, between the two fires, we know there are more than 800 people who have been evacuated. There are level 1, level 2, and level 3 evacuations, again, between the Cedar Creek fire and the Cub Creek fire. I'll have more on that coming up tonight on KREM 2 News at 6. In the meantime, in Okanogan County tonight, I'm Whitney Ward, KREM 2 News.
Wildfires have burned over 8,000 acres near Orofino, Idaho.
The Cougar Rock complex is actually made up of 10 different fires, of which started from lightning.
Yeah, about 350 people are working the fire, and it's currently only 42% contained. Crews are expecting conditions to worsen due to the current red flag warning and, of course, these incoming thunderstorms.
There is a temporary flight restriction in place over the complex on top of several other closures. The Idaho Department of Land's Facebook page will be a good resource for updates on all those closures. All right, taking a look at our air quality right now. Our air quality index is 99. That's actually an improvement over recent days. Right now we're in the moderate category. That means if you are someone who is unusually sensitive to particle pollution, you should reduce your time outside. In just a few minutes, we'll hear from the Spokane Clean Air Agency about how they collect AQI information. So for the latest on air quality numbers, just text the word AIR to 509-448-2000. Well, in other news tonight, former Spokane police officer Nathan Nash made his first appearance today in Spokane County Superior Court.
He's facing charges for allegedly raping a second victim while a member of the Spokane Police Department.
He is being accused of raping a woman with a learning disability during a follow-up visit as part of a physical assault case. Nash also still facing charges for another rape case stemming from October of 2019.
So up until his arrest yesterday, he was free after being released on his own recognizance. But now Nash will have to post bail after a Spokane County court commissioner determined he presented a possible danger to the community.
Although you're obviously not in the same position of authority you were in before, it still raises a concern that whatever position you were in, there's a risk that you could try to exert some influence over somebody you see less advantaged than you, I guess is the way I'll put it.
Nash's bail is set at $50,000. He is facing charges of second-degree rape and unlawful imprisonment.
Coming up tonight at 5, we'll have more details from court records as well as why Nash's attorney felt that his bail should be lowered. That story coming up new at 5 tonight. A large group of local activists is calling for action on police reform.
Yeah, this year the Washington legislature passed several laws regarding police practices.
Those laws recently went into effect, but many in law enforcement have complained the laws restrict their ability to do their jobs.
Today, a group of local advocates urged the state attorney general to clarify the impact of the laws. They say most of the concerns raised aren't accurate interpretations and that really these laws are just common sense.
Isn't it just a crying shame that this has to be a law? But apparently it does. It has to be a law. That you only take a life as a last resort.
One example of a concern raised, police say that these new laws would prevent them from responding to mental health crises. An informal opinion issued by the AG's office this week said that's not the case.
The law in question does not say anything about which calls police can take. The activists are urging the same office to issue more opinions about other concerns so the laws can take full effect, they said.
Plus, scary new details of a child luring case in Coeur d'Alene.
We'll tell you the heroic story of two employees who teamed up to help the child escape.